Did I say I was going to stop broadcasting? Oopsie. Never mind, I meant it at the time. To be quite honest, this whole coronavirus shit has just got me fucking depressed. And I'd stopped taking my tablets as well, so that doesn't help. Everything's getting back to normal now. Well, as normal as it ever was. Right, the Attorney General. Now, I only saw this once, and that was the other day. I think it was yesterday in the Mail, the Daily Mail. Fuck knows why they've run it, because there's not a squeak on BBC News, which I am listening to occasionally just to see if there are election updates. No other reason. Fuck knows why they've run it, but the Attorney General has now given the go-ahead. I forget the exact term he used, but basically you're talking about people like the Department of Justice, FBI, stuff like that. He's given the go-ahead for investigators to investigate substantial election fraud or substantial voter fraud. And in that, it did crack me up, because in the headline in the Mail, it said, despite there being no evidence. Well, I'm sorry, the Attorney General's a pretty important guy. Or woman, I don't know. I mean, the Attorney General obviously is an office title. But whoever's filling the role, that's a pretty important job. And you don't turn round to the Department of Justice and the FBI and say, I've got fuck all evidence. I've seen no evidence whatsoever. Go and investigate. CNN last night apparently said that there was no evidence that dead people had voted in the election. Can't make this stuff up, can you? But again, go back to the British media, saying there's no evidence at all. That's obviously, since the Attorney General has ordered that, that's obviously CNN have jumped on that now. Oh, well, we better try and make out that no dead people voted. But you were all saying before this, there was no evidence whatsoever. So how can a word any of you say ever be trusted again now? Because the Attorney General's ordered an investigation and you're still saying there's no evidence. So you're fucking lying, aren't you? There must be. Now, Trump said he was going to start on Monday with court cases. So I'm guessing that him or his team of lawyers or both went to the Attorney General's office and provided their evidence. I think that was probably the path of things. So, which maybe with that, I don't know, America's legal system, as we mentioned before, is a bit different, but maybe that's what for that severity of case, this is what you have to do. Because apparently an election has never been questioned before. They've always just accepted the result. So maybe that is, you have to go to the top guy to, start things moving. That would make sense. More sense than what the fucking papers are on about, anyway. And I did see someone on Twitter just said, have you noticed the Democrats have gone very quiet? Well, I'd thought that. Obviously, Biden was popping up saying, I'm going to do this, that, and the other when I'm in the White House. But I thought from the moment that it was, decided that he was president-elect, there was very little noise from the Democrats at all. Really. Not much that I've seen. And now, yes, again, I haven't heard Biden's name mentioned today on the news or anything, so there you go. And look, they think they've just got rid of Trump, and fuck me, there's a vaccine. That's fucking amazing, isn't it? Is it because Trump's not a bought and paid for Freemason, and you needed to get him out of the way before you could introduce your fucking poison? Is that the case, mainstream media and government? I think that's the case, isn't it? So that's probably not going to go. So that might disappear, depending how the electoral malarkey goes. And I just heard today they're phasing students out of college so they can go home. It's got to be phased. They're going to let them go home for Christmas, lucky students. But it's got to be phased. Now, this is how mainstream media works, because they'll do that article, they'll say that thing, right? It's got to be phased, they've got to go home in stages, and people will just go, okay, yeah, well, yeah, fair enough. How is that ever going to fucking happen? You've got students in student accommodation, you've got students in private flats, you might have some lucky students who own their own flat, you might have students staying with relatives who happen to live in the town where they're going to college or university. Right? The university or the college can tell them to go home, but they're not giving them fucking travel tickets, are they? They're not saying you must travel on this train at this time on this day. Right, if I was a student in halls now and I got told to go home, like, tomorrow, which is obviously well early for Christmas. I think this starts next week, but you get my gist. If I got told, I'd go back to my fucking halls and get my hands on all the cheap fucking booze I could handle. Fuck me, a free party. No, Mum, no, I'm not coming home until next week now. No, it was going to be that, but they've changed it now. Wow, the shit. Mainstream media is the fucking virus.